Guys, what's up? John Dette here, coming to you with Tuesday tips. So this week I am gonna talk about throne height, particularly where I like the throne height, which is now I'm a taller guy. Not that that would really make a difference, but I usually like my throne height. The stitching here is where I always measure from 21 inches. So from the floor to that stitch that you see in the side, which is just below the top, because these kind of have a beveled top, and I just like to pick a reference point that's a little more consistent. So I just happen to choose the stitching on the side there, 21 inches, okay? So it might be a little 21 and a half if you want to get technical about it. But most importantly, when my foot is on the floor, not on the bass drum pedal, but on the floor, I have this part of my leg, from my knee to my hip, is really about parallel. And there we go. Somebody got shot. Well, we can never control that stuff. We'll leave that in. Fuck it. Anyway, so knee to the hip, I like it personally in a parallel position to the floor. Some people like it raised. It's all good. I hear people talking about hip issues and this and that and the other. Guys, I'm 51 years old. I've been touring extensively for not even years, decades, right? And putting this, I guess, this physical stuff under, I guess it'd be one thing to say if I toured 20 something years with John Mayer. Yeah, got hip issues, buddy. No, I've been playing really heavy music, so I've put this physicality thing through quite a stress test, right? Slayer, Anthrax, Testament, touring, playing shows 5 days a week, for weeks and months on end. I could just tell you that me sitting at this height, I have never had any hip issues. I don't have any back issues. I don't have any joint issues. No carpal tunnel. Nothing, you guys. Now, without turning this into another topic, I would say that a lot of that has to do with what's going down the hatch and what's not going down the hatch, meaning your mouth. What are you putting in your body and what are you not putting in your body? So I'll go into that at another time. But as far as my height, the reason that I sit at this level is that I personally find that I get more power out of my kick drums. I do not use triggers. Again, I've seen guys that will sit higher. They'll even have their feet out a little bit. That this from the knee to the ankle is actually not straight down, but out a little bit. I personally would never play like that. But I also would not use triggers. So if there's another technique for using triggers, that's something that you're not going to get any benefit listening to me if that's what you're trying to incorporate into your style. Because when you're relying on a trigger, you're not having to use power like you would to get that same power from a drum acoustically, okay? So again, I'm not knocking the trigger thing. If that's what some people are into, hey man, awesome. No right or wrong answer. If you're trying to get volume, power, energy, just feeling out of that kick drum acoustically without relying on anything synthetic, then I've found that this is the best way to do it. I've tried sitting high. I lose all my power and I find that I have to use the muscles more at that angle. I've tried sitting super low, which I actually found that to actually give myself even a little more control, sitting super low, where my legs were actually almost like this at one point. But sitting at that angle for long periods of time, yeah, it did start to feel a little weird on my back after a while. And I like standing up. That's another thing that I'll do live, is between songs, I'll actually stand up just so I'm not in this seated position. I don't care if I'm sitting like this or this, who wants to sit for an hour and a half straight? I don't, you know. We see all these videos about how sitting is like the new cancer and all this or whatever. So I'll stand up just to get blood flow through my legs between songs. It's not like not trying to do some rock star thing. I'm standing up to get blood flow going. I might even do a little stretch my hamstrings out a little bit. So again, this is something, if you're in a room or you're playing a show one night on the weekend or something, I don't have to worry about it too much. But if you're playing 5 shows a week and you're playing heavy style music, you know, let's just call it 3, 4, 5 times a week for weeks on end, maybe give it a little more attention, okay? So what happens also is when you're sitting like this, now when I play heel up, so when my heel comes up, now this might actually it actually is a little bit raised. It's now not parallel, it's up a little bit, okay? But my starting point with my heels on the floor, that's where I want this to be parallel, or somewhere about there. That's what I do. And so I found, just for me, 21 inches off the floor, from the floor to this stitching right here on the throne, that's my sweet spot, so to speak, okay? And again, as far as spacing the kick drums, we went into that in a different video. If you haven't seen that yet, just scroll back a couple videos. I do a whole video on how to find your sweet spot for your double bass. It does not have to be stuck together like this, and it doesn't have to be stuck all the way out like this, but there's a way to find where your sweet spot is, okay? So anyway, but again, sitting at this level, I just find that I can get more power in the hit as opposed to if my leg is up top here, okay? Again, take my advice for what it's worth. Don't look at my degree, look at my pedigree, look at what I've done, and just take it for what it's worth. The other thing I find too is sitting at this height, it allows me to have more stamina. It allows me to have more power, but also more stamina as I'm doing those longer bass drum rolls. So you can think of something like Angel of Death. One song that just killed me to try and learn to actually get all the way through consistently was Metallica, Dyer's Eve. So any Metallica fans out there, and Justice for All record, last track, try playing through that all the way through. Right at that part where Hetfield's going, clip my wings before I learn to fly, if your feet aren't burning by that point, wow man, then you are extraordinary. So anyway, tip of the day, drum throne height for power in the kick drums. I keep my leg, this top part of my leg, parallel to the floor, not raised, not below. Again, 51, no back issues, no hip issues, no joint issues, no knee issues, no carpal tunnel issues. I've actually played for bands because drummers had carpal tunnel issues, but that's about it, you guys. So anyway, hope that tip helps. Try it out. Again, most importantly, if you find that sitting that way bothers your back, don't do it. You know, you don't, everybody's body is different. As I said in my prior video, you may naturally want your kick drums further out wide, and that may feel great to you. You could be 6'9" and be like, oh my God, my feet out wide, it hurts, like something doesn't feel right. And you may want your feet like right here. You could be 5'10" and be like, oh my God, this feels amazing to have my feet out like this. This is my natural stance, as opposed to being closer together. Everybody's body is different. And when you're finding your drum throne height, play around to what works for you. Not me, not some other drummer, not some guy that plays drums, twice in a weekend, or some health expert that is going to tell you all the ergonomics of the body that's going on, but hasn't played days and weeks and months at a time. Take that advice from everyone and find out what works for you. obviously pain is going to be a number one indicator of what's going on, but even other things that you just start to, if something just doesn't feel right, it's got to be comfortable. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it, okay? So again, take these tips and advice for what they're worth. I'm sharing specifically what I do for Big Four drumming, not any other style of drumming. This is what I do for Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, Megadeth songs, okay? And this is what I would, if I was playing for Metallica, I would do the same thing. If I was playing for Megadeth, I would do the same thing. So I got 2 down, I got 2 to go. So anyway, you guys, I'm just teasing, by the way. Hope this helps. This is your Tuesday tip. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe, all that stuff. We'll be doing Tuesday tip videos and maybe some extra stuff coming down the road here. If you have a tip that you would like to see, go ahead and post it in the comment. We'll take a look at it, and who knows, might show up as a tip in the coming weeks, all right? Until then, you guys, have a great week. I will talk to you next Tuesday.